Thank you for that really lovely introduction. Let me find my place here. Thank you, Dean Benet Weiser, and to the Annenberg School for this invitation. I'm absolutely honored to have been invited to have this conversation with you today. Thanks to the loved ones who have supported these folks as they've traveled through their journeys. Thank you for being there, and thank you for being here. Thank you to the graduates for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you at this very important punctuation point in your lives. Whew, the pressure. I felt a strong need to try to say something profound to you today, to help you focus your energy as you move into your next chapter. The trouble is, I think that most of what I want to say to you today, you already know. You already know about resilience. You entered this chapter of your lives circa 2020 during the height of a global crisis. You persevered through a pandemic and all of its ramifications. It was painful. You were also resilient through the trial and error of re-entry into three-dimensional life. That was also quite painful. You went through some really tough stuff, and yet here you are, thriving, proud, as you should be. You already know that you should be proud. You made an inspired choice in selecting a communication major, and you followed through, even when it was hard. You chose to prepare for your life's work by studying communication with thought leaders, world-renowned experts. You are now trained in one of the most important things there is, communication. In studying at the Annenberg School, you have cultivated a skill set, a perspective, and the ability to take a critical stance in your understanding of communication processes. You have an understanding of the ways the world is shaped and reflected through communication, by the stories we tell, how we tell those stories, what and who is in the story, and who is left out. And what does that say about us, and how we live, and how we thrive? And because of this training, you are uniquely prepared to really move the needle on things that are crucial to the future of our democracy, our culture, public health, science, history, humanity. You could not have chosen a more important topic to study, but you already know this. Communication is a web that stitches us together. It's in everything. Everything happens through it. So you are trained to wield an immensely powerful tool, and it is a tool. You can choose to do with it what you will, but today I want to urge you to focus this power you wield. Use it towards something important and good. What I'm suggesting is that you find your purpose and move with a sense of urgency because the state of the world demands it. I say this like there is a direct path ahead of you, but I acknowledge that life is often a very windy road. Today, my purpose is health equity. I seek to improve health equity through communication science. But once upon a time, I was a mechanic in the U.S. Army Reserve. Back then, my goal was to learn a trade that I could carry with me anywhere I go so that I always had work. At that time, I was assembling 15.2-liter, 6-cylinder, inline, water-cooled engines. I was using my GI Bill to take courses at the University of Arizona as I had recently transferred from Pima Community College. My persuasion professor, Dr. Robin Nabby, pulled me aside after class one day, and she suggested that I consider graduate school. Actually, what she said was, "You have to go to grad school." She invited me to work with her on her research and encouraged me to meet with her advisor, Dr. Joe Capella. So that makes 3 generations of us. Right? Dr. Nabby got her Ph.D. at the Annenberg School. Dr. Joe Capella was my advisor, and the rest is on my resume. As divergent as these 2 periods of my life are, I picked up some principles back then that have served me well in each subsequent chapter of my life, and I want to share a couple of them with you today. I did my basic training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, which is the only place I've ever been where you get all 4 seasons in the same day. At Fort Leonard Wood, there is no lollygagging, no taking it slow, no strolling around. When you move with a purpose. Moving at a leisurely pace is an invitation for 3 or 4 or 7 drill sergeants to materialize out of thin air in very close proximity to your face, arm outstretched, exclaiming things that often start with, "Private, Private, what are you doing? Private, you got time on your hands?" And then they fill that time. A lot of unnecessary distraction can be avoided by moving with a purpose. I invite you to be intentional in harnessing what you have cultivated as you open your next chapter. Apply the knowledge and skills and perspective that you have gained here at the Annenberg School to effect change. Find your purpose and move with it. Move with a purpose. Once during my stay at Fort Leonard Wood, I was moving with the purpose of not being late to formation. Tardiness carries with it a steep price in the form of push-ups, flutter kicks, jumping jacks, and so on. So in an effort to shave a couple of seconds, I dipped across the grass of the front lawn of the building. What I was about to learn is that walking across the grass is one of the worst things a well-meaning private who just wants to be on time can possibly do. One does not cut across the grass. The boundary is firm. I cut across the grass. 3 or 4 or 7 drill sergeants materialized out of thin air in very close proximity to my face, arms outstretched, proclaiming, "Private, what are you doing?" The thing is, the grass is treasured, it's precious, and therefore cared for. It is not to be stepped on. So it has a boundary. You can run or hop or skip or cartwheel around that boundary, but do not walk across that boundary. Know what is precious to you so that you can know where your boundaries are. In order to do that, you must know yourself and understand what your values and priorities are, because the habits that you develop now will stay with you as you move through the next phases of your career, of your life. Cultivate habits that will honor these boundaries and sustain you as you make change in this world. Prioritize healthy ways of moving about, being in, and co-creating the world. I encourage you to cultivate your awareness of the values and priorities that guide you. To this day, I do not walk across the grass. You have spent the last years of your precious life cultivating one of the most important skill sets one can have. Communication is in everything. Everything happens through it. That makes communication powerful. You know how to analyze, interpret, understand, shape, and reconfigure communication phenomena. That makes you powerful. You get to decide how you will use this power. You can change the world. You have the skills to do it and the credentials to prove it. Move swiftly and with a purpose, and do so with full awareness of the boundaries that constrain and shape your actions. You are the hope for the future, and you already know this. You are ready for this, so go do it. Congratulations, class of 2024.